let's look at a very basic introduction to what we mean by critical reasoning in reading comprehension. Critical reasoning questions will be 2 out of 20. Every verbal section has 20 questions, 10 of which are reading comprehension questions. Out of these 10, 2 questions are critical reasoning questions. A reasoning question looks very much like any other reading comprehension question. A reasoning question will almost always have only 1 paragraph and 5 options, one of which is correct. Now, what makes a reasoning question different from other reading comprehension passages and questions is the type of question that you will get. There are 6 standard question types that you will get, and they are listed here. Complete the passage, in which you have a passage where there's a blank at the end, or find the conclusion. Complete the passage, find the conclusion mostly mean the same thing. We will look at what the term conclusion means, so don't worry about it right now. Inference questions. Inferences are very, very important in any kind of reading comprehension, whether it's a reasoning question or it's a longer passage. So what is an inference? An inference is something that is suggested in the passage, something that is implied in the passage, or the most simple way to put it is something which is indirectly given in the passage. If something is directly stated, it is not an inference. If something is suggested, it is an inference. I'll give you a very simple example. If I say, before last year, I had never visited this city. The inference is, I have now visited this city, right? Or if I say, another way of putting it, I have lived here since last, say, December. The inference is, before last December, I was living elsewhere. I was not living here. Now this may seem very obvious, it may seem as if it is almost directly given there, but if you compare these 2 statements, call this statement 1, call this statement 2, this statement is a fact that is given in the passage. And this statement is a fact that can be derived from the first statement. Since the second statement can be derived from the first and is not directly stated in the passage, we call it an inference. We will take a far more detailed look at inferences when we do inference questions. This is just as an introduction. Weaken the given passage, strengthen the given passage. Weaken and strengthen both relate to the author's opinion. Weaken means you oppose the author's opinion, strengthen means you support the author's opinion. Paradox, the word paradox basically means contrast. There's a contrast in the passage which you have to explain. So another way to describe a paradox question would be explain the contrast in the passage. Bold-faced questions, there are certain parts of the text will be in bold. They will be in bold formatting, and you need to look at the function of the parts in the bold formatting. There is a specific strategy for bold-faced questions which we will look at when we come to that section. Critical reasoning questions test your reasoning skills. They test your logical ability. So there's a lot of thinking to do in CR questions. Before moving on to the 6 types of questions, let's take a little bit of a look at the theory aspect of it. What is a conclusion, what is a fact, and so on. We'll move on to that in the next section.